Cheers, guys. Welcome back to another video. And today, I'm going to give a counterintuitive approach to getting into that zone of inspired action. A lot of us want to begin the thing, get started with what we know deep down we need to do, but we get in our own way, we get home, and we start scrolling, we start procrastinating, we start doing literally anything, our mind playing mental gymnastics with us to convince us maybe now it's not the right time, or I need to prepare more, or I'm not ready yet. We're all familiar with all these games that the mind can play, the monkey mind. And that is really where we get in our own way. So what I'm going to share with you right now is, again, a counterintuitive approach. Recently, in a recent video, I spoke about how just getting into our body, getting moving can help us, because motion creates emotion, to get started. Now, this is a separate technique. This is different. This is actually antithetical to that technique. It's opposite of it, but it can also be helpful. And I've been using this to work on my book. When I don't feel like working on my book, which is almost done, there's certain times, right, where you're just like it feels like a slog when you're working on a project sometimes. It's not the most exciting, stimulating thing. You've got the shiny object syndrome, wanting to look at different videos, wanting to distract yourself, do something that's going to give you a quick dopamine hit, right? So what is this that I'm talking about? Well, it is simply what I've been doing is I've been sitting on my bed, playing a relaxing meditation track, and forcing myself to do nothing, essentially stare at the wall. And if I force myself to do this and I put a timer on for, let's say, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, what I've experienced with this is my mind begins to think. And now this is going to be different for depending on what baseline level of emotional state that you're at. But what's been happening for me is my mind we're so overstimulated all the time that our mind can't deal with the boredom, right? So our mind is always working. And so what's been happening for me is, like, as soon as I do this and I'm listening to this music, I get into this kind of zone where now I'm coming up with ideas, where before I was like, I don't feel like doing this right now. My mind is then, you know what would be great is if I add this technique to this section, or you know what, I remember I heard about this technique, or I remember reading about this thing in this other book. Let me go and find that technique so that I can put it in my book, or that I can do a variation of that in my own book, or let me add this success story that I remember now that came to my mind. So I begin to get inspiration for the project that I'm working on, which in this case is my book. This can also happen for YouTube videos or for other creative things that I'm getting inspired to do. But when I have this blank slate, when I take the option off the table to pull up TikTok, pull up YouTube, to get distracted by something, all of a sudden my mind, because it's more fun to think about how I'm going to make this video, how I'm going to write this book, me putting out this book, it's more fun to think about accomplishing these goals, how I'm going to make millions of dollars, right? All of our minds want to entertain all of these things. We want to think about them, and they bring us a dopamine hit. When we cut off all the other external hits of dopamine, we then generate our own dopamine hits by conceiving of these ideas. But what's been happening for me is that thinking about these ideas is also kind of painful, because it's like, okay, I'm just thinking about this, but I'm not able to act on it. So after the 10-minute mark, or the 20-minute mark, or even 15 minutes, it becomes almost like, okay, I have to do this. And that's where the inspired action comes in. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here wasting time, and your mind doesn't like wasting time, doesn't like the idea of not being able to do something. We get ourselves into this kind of, we trick ourselves into thinking that if I watch these YouTube videos, I'm learning, so therefore I'm being productive. But what happens when we take that off the table is now our mind still says we want to be productive. We don't want to waste time. So now it's like, okay, let me record this video. Let me add this part of this chapter to the book. Let me write this part. Let me just finish this thing that I was working on. Let me complete this task. Let me complete this chapter in the book. And so it's really become a tool, and the music plays a role as well, because for whatever reason, this particular And you can find your own music that resonates with you. But I've been using this meditation track, and it gets me into this kind of relaxed state where the ideas begin to flow more easily, I think, for me personally, than if I was just sitting and staring at the wall without the the help of the music. The music, for whatever reason, has been motivating me to do this as well. Now, I don't have a track with the music. Maybe I'll upload it at some point, or I may include a download link of it with the ebook that I'm releasing. The ebook is going to be interactive. It has links in there. It has different YouTube links in there. It has all kinds of links that kind of supplements the material when I talk about success stories from celebrities and different things that I talk about in the book. I have links that you can click on. You can watch videos that really go and showcase what it is that I'm talking about, so that you can see a more tangible example of, let's say, a success interview with a celebrity, or what may it be. Now, like I said, I might include it in the book. If you're interested in getting the book, let me know down below if you'd be interested in me including the meditation music in it. I'm wrapping up the book as we speak, so I can always add that in as a kind of last final touch. But click the link in the description below. You'll be added to a list, and you'll be notified as soon as the book comes out. It's really just a kind of flagship. I mean, I have my book that's how to remove your limiting beliefs ebook, which is a really great resource and tool for that. But this book that I'm releasing is really a culmination of almost everything that I have learned, really everything that I have learned when it comes to self-talk, affirmations, rewriting the stories that you tell yourself in your mind, which are then going to reflect in your 3D reality, right? So basically, when it comes to this, if you want to be more productive, if you want to actually get the ball rolling, this is another technique that you guys can try. Let me know how it works for you down below, or if you've done anything like this before. I think right now, today, we are so overstimulated that it's almost like, by tapping into this boredom, what people used to feel as boredom, people used to want to busy themselves, right? Do busy work. But you can tap into this by cutting off, your phone, put your phone in the other room, put it on airplane mode, just decide you're not going to touch it. And you will then be compelled, at least I have, to work on my book in this case. Now, that could be pertaining to whatever it is that you're working on for yourself. But when you get out of that cycle, when you take those options off the table, you no longer have the option to go down a rabbit hole of TikTok or YouTube or whatever. And so now you go into a rabbit hole of your mind that's going to put together things that have been sitting on your level of awareness, right? It's going to start gathering all the information that you have been doing, because you might likely, if you've been over consuming content, it is stimulating ideas. But now this is allowing those ideas to bubble to the surface so that you can actually implement them and create something, synthesize that information, and create something of your own by tying these ideas together, or what have you. With that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like. Hit me with a subscribe if you've not done so already. Be on the lookout for this ebook when it drops. Like I said, click the link in the description to be added to the list where you'll be notified when that happens. And I will see you guys in the next video.